আসসালামু আলাইকুম ভিউয়ার্স, ওয়েলকাম ব্যাক এগেইন। আমরা সানোয়ার ভাইয়ের সাথে ডিসকাস করছিলাম তার লাইফের ফরমেশন অ্যান্ড ফাউন্ডেশন ইয়ার এবং ট্রানজিশন অ্যান্ড ট্রান্সফরমেশন ইয়ার। তো এই দুইটা সেগমেন্ট আমি একটু ক্লোজ করব এখন, কিন্তু করার আগে জাস্ট কয়েকটা ছোটো ছোটো কোয়েশ্চেন। তো সানোয়ার ভাই, your father has played a tremendous role in your life. Your family has contributed quite a lot. তো আপনি কিছু কি মোমেন্ট আমাদের সাথে শেয়ার করবেন? আবার সাথে সাথে আপনি বলেছিলেন আপনার ড্যাড গেভ ইউ ফ্রিডম to choose your and pursue your own interest. এটা নিয়ে একটু কাইন্ডলি বলবেন। এবং সাথে সাথে আমরা যারা প্যারেন্ট এখন আছি, আমাদের যারা বাচ্চা বড় হচ্ছে, তাদের জন্য কিছু অ্যাডভাইস আপনি দেবেন প্লিজ।
I think both of my parents were so crucial to my upbringing. My father was a very loving man. He's very tall, 6'2", and he stood like a giant. But he never sort of oversaid, overtalked. But there are a few things that he did that has made me who I am today. One of the things that he always used to say to me was, do what you enjoy. If he had pressured me to stay with my secure job, then I wouldn't have probably explored all of the things that I've managed to explore now. So I say to all parents, listen and see what your children want to do, because ultimately it's their life that we are developing and supporting them on. And if they enjoy doing a particular type of thing, encourage them and seek advice on how best to encourage them, because I think that is really important. Secondly, my father taught me the entrepreneurial skills that I now have. He did many things. He did 4 or 5 jobs. And one of the things I remember him saying was that he was going to make that business a success, even if he needed to get a second job in order to pay for the costs. He wanted to make it a success. And that really, sort of resonated with me. So it was important to keep on working at and persevere at what you want to do. My mother, and this was one of the things that I remember most, was the most supportive of wives. My father did many of the things that he needed to do, but my mother was always at his side, making sure that all of those things were done well. So I think both of that really gave me the sort of what I do now. So my family are very important to me. So my parents did things for us 2 brothers, myself and my younger brother. I have no sisters. And what he did was to lay the ground, which I'm now treading. So what I do now for my children and my grandchildren are exactly the same things that my father has done. And the other thing, even at his time, he was very benevolent. He was very philanthropic in what he did. So he supported a lot of social and welfare programs in Bangladesh, like a lot of that generation did. Built masjids, built schools, madrasas. And again, that's what I'm doing. But he was doing it at a local level. I'm now doing it at a global level. So, that's the difference between him and me. But I'm almost like a microscopic version of my father. And I've been blessed to be able to do so many of the things that I'm doing now. So again, that family bond is so important. Sometimes we allow our children to go to private school, to boarding school. We disconnect as parents. You've got the father working in a restaurant, running his business. He sends his child to private school, he stays at boarding, and they disconnect. So the son becomes, a top-notch lawyer, doctor, or whatever, and the father remains a businessman. There is nothing for them to share and talk about. And I think that's important. You've got to connect with your children. Don't send them out so far that they don't look back and reconnect with you. So it's really important to grow up with your children like my father did with me.
That's brilliant stories and anecdotes. আপনার ড্যাড, আপনার মাম কোহেসিভলি কমপ্লিমেন্টারি একজন আরেকজনকে সাপোর্ট করেছেন, এবং সাথে সাথে আপনাদেরকে ফ্রিডম দিয়েছে, এবং সাথে সাথে হি ইজ এ ডুয়ার, নট এ টোকার. হি lived his life, left a lot of examples for you to pursue in later careers. So what I can see is he has shaped your ambition and aspiration. So that's brilliant. So, what a remarkable father he is, what a remarkable mother your mother is. So, we all pray to them. এখন একটা কাউন্টার কোয়েশ্চেন করি, ধরেন অনেক ইয়াং জেনারেশন স্পেশালি কিডস ভালো রেজাল্ট করলো 8, 9, 10-এ গিয়ে হঠাৎ করে সাডেনলি দে ওয়ান্ট টু গিভ আপ এভরিথিং, দে আর অ্যাংরি উইথ দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ড, এবং তারা অনেক সময় মা বাবার কথা শুনে না, আর মা বাবারা টু মাচ অ্যাডভাইস দিয়ে দেয়। এই সার্কামস্টেন্সেস আপনি কি অ্যাডভাইস দিবেন ওই ছেলেকে ওই মেয়েকে যারা দে ওয়ান্ট টু র্যাভেল, দে ওয়ান্টেড টু নট পারসিউ এনি ইন্টারেস্ট, any career, they just wanted to do whatever they want to do, তাদের জন্য কি অ্যাডভাইস থাকবে?
Again, my father used to say one thing which he had heard from somewhere else. It is better to bend than to break. So sometimes we've got to be adaptable. Look, our children are our future. But if they feel concerned or traumatized about something, they feel, and again, there's always a rebellious part of our lives. So all of us go through this phase where, we just don't want to listen, especially listen to those that give us advice, good advice. So sometimes parents are the worst form of advice, and children sort of totally rebel against it. You've got to give them a bit of space, time for them to reflect, to calm down. If on that heat of the moment you want to have your own set of principles established, then there will be a break. And that break has catastrophic consequences on both the father and son, or the parent and the son or the daughter relationship. And that can never repair itself. So again, standing back and allowing space is always the best way forward. And again, we have discussions with my children. We have disagreements in terms of what they think they should do, what I think I should do. But what I've instilled in my children is to pause instead of reacting. Just listen to what is being said, digest it, think about it, sleep on it, and then come back and react to it. Because it's at the heat of the moment. Our community is all full of emotions. We want to do things instantly. At that moment, we need that answer, we need that gratification, and I think that's where we go wrong. That's where a schism is created and a break takes place. And I think with our children, the best of us. If they share our DNA, they are going to have the attributes that we share. It's just bringing those attributes out. And sometimes it takes longer than other times. But children always do the right thing. You have grown up, you probably wanted to do different things. But over time, you have done things that your parents would be really proud of. And again, my children are doing things that I'm really proud of now. But maybe at an earlier time, I wanted them to do things differently. But giving them that space, allowing my son to do what he wanted to do, allowing my daughter to do what she wanted to do, has allowed them to grow into their space and then reconnect with me as a father.
So storming in a relationship, father and son or daughter relationship, is the reality. We have to be very flexible, very patient, and adapt to each other's choices and respect each other. এবং লজিক এবং রিজনিং না করে ইমোশন, বন্ডিং অ্যান্ড কানেকশন আর হাইলি ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট। আর আমাদের ইগো আমরা ইগোর কম্পিটিশন যেন না হয়, আমাদের রিলেশনশিপ যেন বন্ডেজ ইমোশনের উপর যেন বিল্ড হয়। মেনি থ্যাঙ্কস। আমরা এখন একটু নেক্সট সেগমেন্টে যাচ্ছি, লিডারশিপ অ্যান্ড লেগেসি। সো হোয়াট উই হ্যাভ হার্ড ফ্রম ইউ দ্যাট ইউ হ্যাভ বিল্ড 8 very successful businesses. You have been a leader, co-founder and in many cases founder, built your teams. So a leadershipের কিছু attribute আমাদের সাথে শেয়ার করবেন, এবং আমরা we are here for a small period of time, for example maybe 70, 80, 90 years, but আমাদের পরকাল তো একটা বিশাল লম্বা time. The humanity will survive and thrive in the long term. তো আমাদের লেগেসি রিলেটেড একটু কিছু বলবেন। তো লিডারশিপ অ্যান্ড লেগেসি রিলেটেড আপনার কোনো story, history, anecdotes থাকলে একটু কাইন্ডলি শেয়ার করুন।
I think again, going back to my parents, I think they taught me that there is an underlying platform that you've always got to observe, and that is caring for others. The social responsibilities we have, the philanthropic responsibilities we have, is very important. It's not just about us, but also our surrounding. And I think I've taught that to my children as well. And I think that's the only way that you can connect different generations. They're not interested in your passion, but they are interested in helping others. So if you can teach them that helping others, looking after others, taking care of others, whether in the natural form or in the human form, is very important. I think that's an important legacy that you have. But again, in business, I think my success is down to networking. It's being, seeing, adapting, and growing that to a successful business. So no business did I start off with at an early stage or an early age and said, look, this is what I want to achieve. It's opportunities that came up along the way that I took hold of, and things that I enjoyed, I nurtured into something that was very successful. So my car business, for example, these two Pakistani friends in their sort of mid-20s, had a few cars, 30, 40 cars that they were selling. And I gave them advice on how to structure it, how to look after their bookkeeping, how to deal with their numbers. So as an accountant, we gave them that advice initially. And they reached about 60 cars, and they hit the physical obstacle of capital. So again, that was lacking. They didn't have the credit rating required to raise capital. So I invested some money simply as a loan, as opposed to business, and that went from 60 cars to 240 cars. So that took them over an immediate hurdle. But at 240 cars, these two friends, 5 or 6 years had gone by, they had reached a ceiling,
a plateau.
They couldn't go beyond.
Yeah.
So to build capacity, to sort of extend and scale up, they needed more strategic input, and they didn't have that. So money can only take you so far, but that strategic input that's required, that orientation, scaling up, was important. So at that time, the choice I had was either I became directly involved as a partner, or I let them get on with it with however they would have done. If I'd let them get on with it, they would have probably carried on at that 250, 300 car level up until now. But I said to them, look, I will get involved as long as you give a 10-year commitment to stay involved in the business. We'll give you a basic salary. I won't take one, but you do 18-hour days. So one would do the sales side, the other would do the procurement and the operational side. And they agreed to do that. Now these two Pakistani brothers, they were about 30 at that time, maybe had asset base of 150, 200,000 pounds. But that journey was a journey that I really put a lot of effort, a lot of importance in, and also money input. And within 10 years, in total, over a 13-year period, I'd taken a business that had 40 cars to 2,500 cars.
Amazing, amazing.
With 15 acres of usable space, with a car prep site and 2 sales locations, each holding about 1,000 to 1,100 cars each, with roughly about another 1,000 cars constantly being prepped in order readiness for sale. So again, that transformation was huge. But these two boys stuck to their word. They worked 16 to 18-hour days, and I saw them. And I left them to deal with the operational side, and I looked after just the strategic aspect. And at that time, 2019, 2020, we had the corona sort of epidemic, the COVID epidemic, that really knocked the business down. And we suffered. We lost millions during that time. We could only sell cars on a remote basis. So again, but we were robust enough to have built, and again, using the policies that I had adapted, save enough in order to survive and see through that. As soon as COVID was over, it was a boom, exploded in ways that we couldn't have expected. Big motoring world, Peter Waddell, saw our business. He'd been knocking on our door for several years, wanting to buy us out. He needed the locations, he needed the setup that we had in order for him to get investment from the city. So he had a motivation to buy us, and we weren't taking the offers that he was giving. But ultimately, he gave an offer that we couldn't refuse, almost 3 times our value, in a way that we said in January 2022, it's been a good 12, 13 years. I think this is something that we need to accept. And again, we came out of it. And remember, every business, generating revenue is important, but generating value is even more important.
Excellent.
And if you can exit with that value, that's where that success comes.
Fantastic. তো কুইকলি কয়েকটা লেসন নিচ্ছি, এরপর আমরা একটা সেকেন্ড কোয়েশ্চেনে যাব। নাম্বার 1, social capital. Number 2, building networks so that you have the trust. And then, of course, think big, also do, and then persevere, and then work together, work very hard, yes? তো এটাই আপনার লিডারশিপের কিছু এক্সাম্পল আপনি শেয়ার করলেন। লেগেসি রিলেটেড, আপনি তো মাল্টি-মিলিয়ন পাউন্ড বিজনেসেস তৈরি করলেন। কার মোটরিং ইন্ডাস্ট্রি, আপনি ওই বিজনেসটাকে 50-fold ইনক্রিজ করেছেন 12 ইয়ার্সে, এবং হিউজ অ্যামাউন্ট অফ ভ্যালু ক্যাপচার করেছেন আপনি। তো এখন পৃথিবীকে আপনি কি দিয়ে যাবেন? একটু লেগেসি রিলেটেড কিছু কথা বলুন প্লিজ।
আমি সব কিছু দিয়ে যাব, বিকজ right from the beginning I have planned my wealth and platform to help others, and my children are in on that journey, so they understand what I'm looking to do. So 90% of everything that I've accumulated, and alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me with so much. You know, I can't even dream of the things that Allah has blessed me with. A beautiful family, you know, good health. Even though I had a bypass operation a year and a half ago, the recovery was so fast. Within a day, I was walking, and within a month, I was traveling to the US. So it's been a fantastic transformation, and you know, a lot of people's du'as and Allah's blessings. But I'd always, everything that I've done, philanthropy is something that I've always kept pivotal to my whole family. So my 3 boys and my daughter and my 2 daughter-in-laws, they're very much into that side of things. So everything that we do, obviously we need our personal, you know, shelter, education, food, and so on. We have all of that. But 90% of what I have, I'll be leaving for the public good.
Oh, brilliant.
Which means that I pay 0, hopefully, if everything works out well. And again, Allah is the best of all.
0 inheritance tax, eh?
What I hope to do, and again, you are an accountant, you know about accountancy. I want to leave if I'm going to leave 90% of everything I have for the public good, then I want to make sure that I pay 0 inheritance tax legally. I pay 0 capital gains tax, because ultimately public good is something that everybody supports and the government supports. So if we plan ourselves well, then we're not just leaving monetary assets to our children that can corrupt them, but we leave them with a legacy, a platform, which they will continue to nurture and grow into something big. So what my father had left, I've grown 1,000 times. What I'm leaving, if my children can even grow it 10 times, that will be something which could transform a small village.
Amazing, amazing. তো আপনার লাইফটা not only inspirational, but also you know, it's led with wisdom and insight. এবং আপনি আমাদের সাথে যেই চমৎকার কিছু টপিক শেয়ার করলেন, খুবই চমৎকার কিছু লেসন আমরা পেলাম। সো ইন রিলেশন টু ভ্যালিউস, অ্যাসপিরেশনস অ্যান্ড ক্যারেক্টার ট্রেটস, কয়েকটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট ট্রেটের কথা বললেন, ক্যারেক্টার ট্রেট, কয়েকটা ভ্যালিউ রিলেটেড বলেন, এবং অ্যাসপিরেশন রিলেটেড কয়েকটা ফাইনাল কমেন্ট যদি করেন প্লিজ।
Look, we fight over small things that is not going to be relevant in a very short period of time. In 5 years, 10 years, we break friendships, we fight with our family, we do so many things. And really, if you look at the bigger picture, if you look at the perspective of what's going on, you realize that a lot of what we do isn't necessary and isn't important. So I encourage everybody to get on with and do something. Because when we work, we earn a living. When we do business or get into enterprise, and again, throughout my life, the backbone has been my career and academia. But the side businesses that I've done is what's given me my wealth. So again, always be involved in different things, but be involved. A lot of people say, I don't know what to do, what to start with. Open an A to Z, and there are 1,000 businesses there. Everyone provides a service or a product. Just get interested in 1 or 2 or 3, and your life will be a success.
Thank you, Sanwar Bhai. What an extraordinary life you have led. What a success stories that you have shared with us. And what a fantastic values that we should all nurture. And what a determined and disciplined life that we should all try to live. তো আপনার বাবা, আপনার মা এবং আপনার ফ্যামিলি, আপনার গ্র্যান্ডচিলড্রেন থেকে আমরা যে শিখলাম আজকে, এবং আমার ভিউয়ার্স যেটা আপনার স্টোরিটা শেয়ার করলো, আপনি শেয়ার করলেন, আমরা জানলাম। ওই জন্য আপনাকে অনেক অনেক ধন্যবাদ, অনেক অনেক বেশি কৃতজ্ঞ জানাচ্ছি। এবং আশা করি আপনার লাইফ থেকে আমরা কিছু শিখব এবং আমাদের সোসাইটিকে একটু বড় করব। At the end of the day, British Bangladeshis has to play a very vital role to advance our society. As a country, we need to lead. We need to lead, and it can only lead if Bangladeshi people, British Bangladeshi, come and lead new generation of businesses, new generation of professions. So please do not think about your life only. Think about British Bangladeshi, how you can promote us to the world stage. Let's work together, advance our society, make the world a better place. Let's learn from Sanwar Bhai's life, and let's work together to leave a wonderful legacy. Thank you very much for joining us. Inshallah আবার আপনাদের সাথে দেখা হবে এবং আমরা আরো ফ্যাসিনেটিং কিছু মানুষকে নিয়ে আসব। তো আমাদের অফকোর্স এই প্রোগ্রামে আমরা যেটা করি, যারা হাইলি সাকসেসফুল, হাই অ্যাচিভার, যারা হু আর আর্কিটেক্ট অফ চেঞ্জ, হাইলি ভিশনারিজ, হাইলি সাকসেসফুল লিডারদেরকে আমরা নিয়ে আসি। আজকে আপনাদের সামনে প্রেজেন্ট করেছি ডক্টর সানোয়ার চৌধুরী। উনি একাধারে একজন একাডেমিক, বিভিন্ন ইউনিভার্সিটিতে প্রফেসর হিসাবে কাজ করেছেন এবং উনি অনেকগুলো প্রতিষ্ঠান স্টাবলিশ করেছেন, এবং সাথে সাথে হি ইজ এ চার্টার্ড অ্যাকাউন্টেন্ট, এবং চার্টার্ড অ্যাকাউন্টেন্সি বিজনেসের মাধ্যমে উনি অনেকগুলো বিজনেসকে সাপোর্ট করেছেন। এর সাথে উনি জড়িত আছেন অনেকগুলো ট্রেড অ্যাসোসিয়েশন বডিজ, অনেকগুলো প্রফেশনাল বডিতে। আমি জেনেছি বিভিন্ন সূত্রে যে উনি প্রতি বছর বাংলাদেশ এবং বাংলাদেশের বাইরে লক্ষ লক্ষ পাউন্ড, উনি মিলিয়ন পাউন্ড উনি ডোনেট করে যাচ্ছেন। ওনার লাইফ থেকে অনেক ইন্টারেস্টিং কিছু আমরা শুনলাম এবং জানলাম। তো ভিউয়ার, প্লিজ pray for Sanwar Bhai and his families so that they can remain a beacon of hope for Bangladeshis. Thank you very much for watching our shows, and I hope to see you in our next episode. Thank you, Sanwar Bhai.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, bye.
Thank you.